Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show a tarot deck that is quite unusual and it is also quite hard to get now. And this deck is so unusual that I have titled this video My Strange Deck. And because it is quite different, I'm going to show this deck in a slightly different way than I normally do. I'm going to show some of the cards that I think are strange, and then I'm going to show the cards that I particularly like. So the tarot deck I'm talking about is called the Modern Medieval Tarot. And this deck is not seen very much. It seems to be out of print now, and if you have a look on Amazon, I have seen this going for quite a high price. I think possibly it may have had a limited print run. I'm not too sure, but on the cover of the box, this is the Four of Swords. And this was published in 2006 by A.G.Muller. And I think it was also distributed by US Games, but it was actually published by A.G.Muller in 2006. And you can see from the box, when I saw this box, I've had this deck about 10 years. And I saw the box and I thought, oh wow, that looks really nice. And I thought I would get this deck because of the picture on the box. And I remember when I bought this deck in a rather small shop, I went to buy the deck and the person at the shop said, "Oh, are you sure about this one?" And I said, "Yes, I really like the look of this one." And I think about that now and I wonder if she knew that this deck was different in some way. I think about that now, but at the time I just thought, oh, I really like the look of this deck. So here is the box, and it is digital art, and it was created by a couple. I'm not too sure what the relationship is, but they both have the same last name. The digital art was done by Shayn Wetherell and Tim Wetherell. And apparently the digital art was done by Shayn Wetherell, and Tim Wetherell is a sculptor, and he apparently did some of the wooden horses that are in here. And I'll show you a couple of cards to show what I mean by that as well. So here is the box, and it's Waite Smith based, and it has black borders. The cardstock is quite durable. Here is the back of the cards. I quite like the card backs. Apparently this is one of those decks that you either really like or you dislike because of the small number of strange cards that are in here. There's probably about a quarter of the deck that seems a bit strange. So here is the first card. These are the cards that I think are strange. This is the High Priestess. And I think this card looks a bit strange because it's kind of got a witchcraft feel, more of a sorceress than a high priestess kind of feel. But I think the thing to keep in mind with this deck, it's called Modern Medieval, but it's really a bit gothic. I think it probably should have been called Gothic Medieval rather than Modern Medieval. And even the medieval part isn't quite right because it's partially medieval and it's also got a Renaissance historical feel. So it is an unusual deck. So here is the High Priestess. The Chariot. Now the Chariot, these are two metal sculpture horses. With a fist in armour, steel gloved hand in the background. So that is the Chariot. Now this card is the Death card, and it is the kind of card, I think it's a little bit macabre. And you'll see what I mean when you look at this. Some people might find that a little bit too dark and a bit too creepy. That's the Death card. Other people may really like it, but I think it's a bit a little bit macabre. There's a little bit of gloss on the card, so I'm trying not to show too much gloss. And the Judgment card is quite different too. There's like a demon figure here in the corner, bottom corner. So that's a bit strange too. And I'm going to show some more cards in the Minor Arcana that are a bit strange. Now for what would normally be wands, this is staves, but they're not your usual staves. It's actually a medieval weapon that's called a mace. And a lot of people may not recognise that medieval weapon, but that is a mace. So in some ways I think the staves deck should have been called maces. I think then people would be able to look into that word and know a bit more of what they're looking at. Anyway, this is the Ace of Staves. Now, this is the Six of Staves, and you'll see what I mean about the horses. He's supposed to be on a hobby horse. So, it's a Six of Staves. And the creators in the Little White Book said they wanted a fantasy feel as well. So it does have a fantasy feel. And the Little White Book does give a very brief description of each card, which is helpful, and a very brief meaning. So here is the Six of Staves. Now this card really threw me when I first got this deck because I thought, oh, what is this? especially if you have, when you first get a deck and you look at the cards and you haven't quite looked at the little white book yet. And I thought, what is this horse supposed to be? I thought it was paper mache or something. Apparently it is like a wooden sculpture of a horse. You'll see what I mean when I show it to you. This is the Knight of Staves. Yeah, so I quite dislike this card because I can't take this card seriously when I see this card. I just think it just looks not only strange, but it just doesn't look realistic enough. Not for me anyway. I probably dislike this card the most of the whole deck. So this is the Knight of Staves. Here is the Ace of Cups. And this is a bit different because in the little white book they call this red liquid that's being poured from the cup. And I suppose some people could think of this as wine, but I didn't really like the look of the red liquid being poured out of the cup. That's just how it affected me a little bit. But that's different about this deck as well. There seems to be they call it red liquid in the book, so you could think of it as red wine in the Cups cards. So the Ace of Cups. Here is another horse sculpture thing. The Knight of Cups. So that horse sculpture looks a little bit better than the Knight of Staves. That's a Knight of Cups. Queen of Coins. Don't really like this card. Has got snakes surrounding the Queen of Coins, and it's just a bit strange, like some of these other cards that are in the deck. I wouldn't normally quite associate snakes with coins. I suppose you could think of it as a type of earth element creature, but I just think snakes with the Queen of Coins is a bit strange. And here is the King of Coins. And there's a snake in the corner of this one too. Again, I think that's a bit strange. King of Coins. Now I'm going to show you the cards that I actually like. Now the cards that I'm not showing, apart from these cards I do like, they're the other cards that I have a more kind of neutral feel about. I just wanted to show you the ones that I think are strange and the ones that I particularly like. And then the rest of the deck is just neutral. They're well done and quite acceptable. What is the remainder of the deck? So here is the Emperor. I don't usually like Emperor cards very much, but I really like this one. I just think that's quite beautifully done. the lovers. Really like this idea for the lovers. Strength. I like this idea for strength. I love the gold lion mask. I think that's really beautiful. Temperance. I really like this one too. I just think it's beautifully done. The digital art is actually quite good. It's just the choice of imagery sometimes I'm not quite sure about. So I haven't used this deck all that much because of some of the cards that I find strange. The Devil. I think this is a really good Devil card. Really looks the part. Quite evil looking. Beautiful star. Lovely star card. I really like this card. The Moon. And I love this Four of Staves. It's one of the most beautiful Four of Staves I've ever seen. And the Five of Staves. I just like this concept. So you have the 5 maces joining together. To form a pentagram. Beautiful Page of Cups. So there are some beautiful cards in this deck. I think that is why it's a type of deck that you either really like or you may be disliking it because of a few strange cards. But there are some really beautiful cards in here. Page of Cups. Two of Swords. I think this is really beautiful. Ten of Swords. I love the crows or ravens in the background. or overhead. Ten of Swords. Queen of Swords. And he looks the part. I think that's a great Queen of Swords. Five of Coins. I really like this Five of Coins. It's not usually one of my favourite cards, but you can really see the support in this card. Really like this. And the last card I'm showing, the Ten of Coins. I like this one too. Okay, so there's some of the cards from the modern medieval tarot, and I'll put the details below the video. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.